Hey, this is WhyBeAre with BeamNG.drive, and today we have a BMW M3 we're going to look at, so let's go to GridNap and do some basic tests there. We're going to be looking at an E30 M3, which is a first generation M3, and as far as I'm concerned, it's also the nicest looking M3. Basically for me, the older it is, the better it looks. The E30s, like this one, they look great to me. E36, they look pretty good too. E46, they're okay. Then you got the E90 and the F80, which they just don't do it for me. I mean, it's all personal preference on the way looks are. It's all subjective. But to me, E30 is the nicest looking one there is. You know, everybody likes a different one, but I like the E30. So we're going to take a quick look at the exterior. The model was ported from Forza 3. So everything you see is the same as if you were playing Forza 3. The difference is when it crashes, it'll actually crash realistically, unlike Forza. So there's the exterior, and I'm assuming the interior is also ported from Forza 3 since it has interior models. Take a look around. I like that you can see right there the little detail of the lock. Just that little thing is cute. The gauges and all that, they do function. You can see the tachometer moving and the speedometer moving as well. I didn't bother to check if the fuel gauge works because, well, I never really care about that, but it might. And wow, we are doing some amazing rolls right now. I didn't even get to see it, unfortunately, because I was on the inside. We did some amazing rolls right there, so you get a quick look at some damage to the car. It really wasn't that damaging of a roll. We were just rolling really fast and a lot of times. Go ahead and reset the car real quick. Couple more things I want to point out about the exterior first. It does have a reverse light, does have blinkers, and it even has a brake light. So it has like all the little details you would want, possibly. Everything. Even headlights work. You know, if we go somewhere dark, it wouldn't be dark anymore. Where's somewhere dark? Over there. I see a shadow. I will brighten this shadow. So you can already see it on the cubes. You see the shadows going away. So the headlights are functional. And I guess you could probably hear the custom engine sounds as well right now. I'll go ahead and shut up for a second so you could hear it. And then you could tell me if you think it sounds like a M3 or not of this generation. And I'm back. Hopefully by the fact that I stopped accelerating, that will kind of tell you that I might be yelling at your ears soon. So that's how it sounds. Like I said, you could tell me if it sounds similar or not. I didn't actually look up what an E30 sounds like. I forgot to. I'm sorry. I forget sometimes these things. Anyways, though, that's just a quick look at the car itself. Now, one thing I want to point out that's really cool about this car is it uses the Stig mod. Stig mod. Well, I guess that's not really the name for it, but it has a Stig driver that you can use. And if you've seen my video for the Gravel D series with the Stig, this is very similar to that. It uses the same 3D model, and the J-beam structure frame is very similar, but it's been modified to fit an M3 versus a Gravel D series truck. The one thing I want to note, though, is this one has the seatbelt on by default, while the other one had the seatbelt off by default. These are things you'll be able to change eventually, but right now the parts menu is still all busted up, so you can't actually choose that. So that means when you get into a crash, you'll actually stay in his seat now as if he was seatbelted up instead of flying all over the cabin. And I'm really torn about which way I like it. I do like watching him fly around the cabin, but I also like the idea of him wearing a seatbelt and being a responsible driver. Eventually it'll be really easy to choose between the two, but as of right now, we have the one with the seatbelt because that's the way it comes when you get it. So get him in the car. So let's go ahead and do a crash and you can watch his neck snap. That's a 75 mile per hour crash, so that's going to be really painful. You see, that's is some, well, maybe not a major head damage, but that's at least a concussion. At least, like, if the whole car was a really nice crumple zone, it's at least a concussion. It's one of those things where it's hard to know how many G's like a driver experiences compared to like how much the car crumples, because it seems like a fair amount of the car crumpled up, but it's so hard to know. It's really hard to judge. All I can say is at 75 miles per hour, you're going to be hurting. If not going in the ambulance or something. And the Stig, he's still holding on the wheel like, I got this wheel. I'm not letting go. He's dedicated. Oh, that reminds me, his arms look a little crazy sometimes. Like, oh, look at that wrist. That wrist, man. Ooh, that looks painful. He looks fine going to the right. And you go to the left, and he's like, oh, you gotta rotate your arms or something, man. That hurts. Small detail. It's like one of those really small details where you don't notice it, but it's funny when you do. It's like, oh my goodness, look at his arm. That looks painful. But if you have an older version of this car, it does not have the Stig. He's just not there. And I would highly suggest you update, not just for the Stig, but because it seems to crash better. Like on the older versions, it would seem like it was a little too fragile. This version, it seems much more what you would expect, like compared to the other cars in the game, where you crash it, and it crashes what you'd expect. Like the other one, it was just more fragile, and you seem to get a lot of trunk damage for no real reason. This one, the amount of trunk damage is a lot more reasonable. So, the updated version is definitely highly suggested. You can see the crash itself, I have no real major complaints about it. It looks pretty decent to me. I do notice the doors clip through the roof, but that happens to just about any car, so not really anything to say there. I wonder if we could bend the antenna if we go onto something just short enough. Like, I just saw the antenna sticking up, so it made me think of it. So if we hit something with the antenna, I mean, the easy way is just to pull up the JB instructions and say, does the antenna have something? But where's the fun in that? It's hard to see the antenna. There we go. Oh no, the antenna doesn't have a J-beam structure, does it? Nope. Oh, worst car ever. No, I'm just playing. I was just curious if it did. It doesn't. Does it move around though when you're driving, or is it just an illusion? I think it's just an illusion. Maybe it does. I don't know. I can't tell. It's hard to tell. Here, we could do this. Here's an easy way to tell. Do you move, antenna? Nah, I don't move. I had to check. So that's just a small detail that could be added. I've seen other cars that have antennas, and actually, do the antennas work? Now that I think about it, those are kind of... The one car I know of that has an antenna, the antenna sometimes gets glitchy, so maybe it's better not to do the antenna. I don't know. Again, there goes the Stig, slamming his face into the steering wheel and into the dash even a bit. Hands grabbing on this. Yeah, he's checking his speed out. He's like, He has bad vision with that thing on, so he's trying to check his speed. That's all. He's totally fine. All right, so let's do some jumps. I want to do a jump. All right, did we lose the front fender? Nope, it's still there. I noticed the door gets a little jiggly on the jumps. Stays closed though, so it's just a minor detail. I don't want to sound like I'm nitpicking or anything. I'm just pointing out what I see. Oh, this car does not do well on the suspension test. It's too low. It just tore off its front fender. It's barely hanging on. I gotta try the suspension test now after seeing that. Do it from the correct direction, see if it makes a difference. I don't know if there is a difference, really, in terms of the direction you do it. Maybe there isn't. It just feels like this is the direction you should do it in, though. Alright, you can do the easier one, at least. Let's go the harder one. Nope, not happening. They're just too tall. Like, it's not even the test of the suspension. You're just gonna slam into it, because the M3 is not a car with a big ground clearance. Look. Simple logic says you can't clear this. You're just gonna smash your bumper into it. So let's not do that anymore to the poor car. Let's just wreck it hard instead. Because that's so much nicer, isn't it? You know, I think this car might be low enough where it'll probably barely be affected by going through that thing, but we'll try it anyways. Does it have much effect? It pops the doors open. That's funny. Oh, and it flips it over because I crashed into that part. Oh, we lost the door. I have to say, unfortunately, I think this car is similar to the D-Series, where even if you have the Stig unbuckled, he's not going to actually fall out of the car, because you see, there's still like a structure of the door there, which is like necessary to make the car crash realistically, and that's kind of the reason why you can't have the Stig flying out the car. At least, that's the way I understand it. I'm not too high knowledge on how the J-beam structure stuff works, but that's what I kind of come to read and believe. Alright, let's try to do something interesting right here. A little bit of slow-mo. Oh, I missed it. Oh, I took my mirror off. Well, the mirrors fall off perfectly fine. I can tell you that right now, because I just took mine off. Roof strength seems reasonable. Got damaged, it's a reasonable amount. Actually, that looks cool. No lie, if I saw a chop top M3 by just a few inches like this, I would say that looks pretty cool. I don't know. It's probably really stupid to do that, but man, it looked cool. Nothing crazy, just a few inches off. I don't know exactly what's going on with the trunk lid right there. That looks... Is that the spoiler or something that fell off, maybe? That's probably what it is. The spoiler fell off and then it's just kind of hanging there. That must be what it is. See though, this car keeps driving. Got a ton of damage, but it keeps driving. Even has a flat spot in the tire, you can see it. Maybe even a multiple flat spots, it's hard to tell. Alright, let's go ahead and reset it, get a nice fresh car. See, but there you can see though, what happened was that spoiler fell backwards and it kind of got stuck in everything. Ooh, I got an idea. Break everything! Yeah. Oh, interesting. Did I hit break all hinges or break all brake groups? Oh, so the tires are not a brake group. So you can have pretty much everything fall off, but the tires are still here and working. Which might mean that the tires can't fall off at all. Which is a possible improvement for a later version. This is beta 1.6, so it might already be a planned change. Let's try to test that theory, though. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that tire would fall off. So, the tires will always stay connected to some extent, it appears. And I've really parked this thing into that tree hard. I think got stretched a bit. It's hard to judge if that's the car or just an awkward crash angle, because awkward crash angles just happen. There's nothing you can do about those. Like even a good done car is not meant to stretch outwards, and if you ever stretch a car outwards, it's like that's really not a good representation, because that's more of the engine of BeamNG.drive itself not really being built for that versus the car itself being bad. Because the other crashes tell me the car does pretty decent. Like you see right there, looks nice to me for in terms of crash for quality. No problem here. You see the engine right there is a little engine. That looks like a big engine. As far as I know, these only have 4-cylinder engines, but that's a big 4-cylinder engine. It's probably gotta be like, I don't know the exact engine they have, but it has to be like at least a 2.5 liter engine or something. Well, wait, what kind of... In the 80s, what kind of... I don't know. I'm just gonna assume that's just the block, right? And it's not like any of the other parts would be that same size. I don't know. I don't know why I'm going with that. All I know is we've probably done enough just driving around and crashing into things here. Let's do a couple of things that we can do nice and easy here, and then we'll go to a different map and do some crashing there. Let's go ahead and grab another vehicle, which will be the Crusher. And we're going to crush it with the Crusher. And then we can stretch it, which just ruins any car no matter how good it is, but it's fun to watch. And since the Stig is in this, you should probably change the color so you can tell it apart, or the Stig apart from the just pieces of body panel that hang everywhere. So there we go. Oh, kind of inside of the Crusher. That's not what we wanted to do. Bad Stiggy. Don't do that. I know you don't want to be crushed, but I'm sorry. It's the way things are. It's the way things have to be. Square car. Crush it again, crush it again. I like how the exhaust is just right there. Like, you can't hurt me. Never mind, you can hurt me. Now we stretch it. Oh, this one might not stretch good because of its position. Nope, it'll stretch fine. Look at the Stig. Oh, we broke the Crusher, it looks like. Yeah, that's why you don't stretch cars, man. Things don't go well when you stretch cars. Cars aren't made to be stretched. Let's get out of here. And... oh, I got an idea. Let's do an acceleration test. I think I have a thing around here somewhere that does acceleration speed, don't I? No, let me add it real quick then. We could do an acceleration test to see how it compares to real life. That could be interesting. See if it's realistic. So if we use the performance timers, we can get a good idea of if it's a realistic speed or not to like 60 miles per hour. So we're going to back it up, make sure we're on a nice flat surface. And let me look up exactly what time it would get. Well, let me do a run, and then I'll look up what time it would get on a 0 to 60. This is, of course, using the automatic transmission. Might be able to shave off half a second or so if I use manual, because automatics back in this time period were not that great, but we're going to use automatic instead, because I'm lazy. Alright, so we got a time of 6.89 seconds. Let me go look up how long it would normally take in this car in real life, and I'll be right back. Alright, so I actually did one more run where I was using a manual transmission to see if I could go a little bit faster, and I managed to go ever so slightly faster. I got a 6.74 second 0 to 60 time. Now, in real life, the M3 had multiple engine options. And in the game, there were also multiple engine options. This whole time we've been running the Euro spec engine, which can get from 0 to 62 in 6.9 seconds. We got from 0 to 60 in 6.74 seconds. So that tells me the acceleration for this car is really pretty much spot on, it seems like, in terms of at least 0 to 60. It seems like it's right there where it wants to be. And if we look at the engine curve, which we can bring up, you see that this thing tops out at about 197 horsepower, which is what the real life engine does as well. I can't say if that engine curve is actually realistic to the real engine because I didn't look that up, but the amount of power it gives is very realistic. The torque, I'm not sure because it's in Newton meters and I didn't actually look at how much torque the other one made anyway, so I wouldn't be able to tell you. So somebody else out there could tell me if the torque numbers look about right to you because I didn't look that up previously. But the other engine options, there's a US spec, which is very, 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 very similar. Just the way the curve is different. And you lose the custom engine sounds when you change to the different engines, which is kind of sad. Then you have an Evo 2 spec, which has about 220 horsepower. At least it's supposed to. Let's see, yeah, about that. Just looking at the chart. Then you have a Group A engine, which has about 300. So you have a good selection of engines if you wanted to change them out, but you gotta change them out from the parts menu. There's no pre-selection for like, I want the US spec BMW or the Euro spec or anything. You just gotta know that they're there, and then you can make a selection for the engine you want. Although they don't have the engine sounds, which I kind of like the engine sounds. I don't know if they're realistic, but I like having a different engine sound. It's just pleasant. So we're gonna keep with the Euro spec engine for a while. I think it should be possible to make them all have the same sound. Although I don't know if you would want the Group A to sound the same, but whatever. Minor details. Let's go ahead and head to a different map now that we've done that test. And, well, actually, we could do a top speed test. Why not? So, let's go ahead and clear out all this junk on my screen. All kinds of junk. There we are. Most of it's gone. Hold on. Where's the normal menu? Oh, that's right, I added that, so that's going to be there. So the top speed for this model of the BMW is supposed to be 146 miles per hour. Let's see if it is. Or at least near it. Like, if it's at 130, that's pretty close. Alright, fourth gear at 90 miles per hour. That looks promising in terms of gearing length. Seems like we should be able to reach that speed with enough distance. See, now I don't have any numbers for how long it takes to get the car up to 146 or whatever. I just realized, though, we had some serious acceleration on that 0 to 60 time. Oh, odd. Even faster than when I used manual. I mean, I suck at shifting. Alright, so we got it up to 130. It's getting real close. It's right now within 10 miles per hour of the real life top speed. It looks like the gearing is going to match up pretty much right there. 146, come on. There you go. And it gets a little bit extra. Not like a lot extra, but it's getting a little bit more out of it. But it's reasonable to say that top speed is pretty realistic feeling. Like the car is really near its red line to get it up to just a little bit over it. So, no complaints there. That top speed seems to be realistic. Let's go ahead and go to a race course or something and do some racing. I don't know, it feels like a car that's sporty enough where I could take it to a track for like track day, bro. So let's go to Hirochi Raceway. Since we are on a racetrack, I figure, why not use a Stig? Well, really, for me, it's like, why not use a Stig 99% of the time? Because it's just fun to have a driver, I think. So let's make this M3 pink M3. Oh goodness, this is going to be hideous. You know, I like the M3, but I don't like a pink M3, but we're going to drive it anyways. So this is actually a new version of Hirochi Raceway I haven't used yet. I'm hoping it's similar to the old version, though, where I can still drive on it and know where I'm going, but we'll see. So we'll see how well the car handles. So far, it seems alright, but we've only done half a corner. What is that text in the bottom? RT3 exit. RT4 exit. Oh, I know what it might be. Okay. It might be like when I'm driving on the course, it might be saying you're entering this corner, you're exiting this corner. Like entering a corner 33, exiting corner 33. Huh. Not exactly sure what that's for. But okay. I should stop staring at those words and actually pay attention to my driving because I'm gonna, yeah, I'm gonna do something bad, almost crash and die because I'm too busy looking at the words. RT, what? When did I hit my door? When did I bash my door in? I don't remember doing that. So somebody pointed out the time when I crashed. I was so busy looking at the text, I didn't even realize I crashed. That's terrible. So in terms of performance, though, this car seems like it's fairly competent going around a track like this. If the driver was more competent, it would be a very good car. However, this driver is busy staring at the RT25 trying to figure out why the number went down. I shouldn't do that. But it seems like it's a pretty good, easy car to handle. Like, I'm able to slide it around and I'm not spinning out. It seems pretty balanced. It's not going to be an amazing drift. Well, it might be able to work as a drift car, but it's not going to be like an amazing drift car. It seems it's more made for grip. And that's to be expected considering it's a stock car. So now let's crash it. Into the tree! Oh, we can't go into the trees. There's an invisible wall there. Okay, into the invisible wall then. Maybe that's what happened. Maybe I bumped an invisible wall. That's a good excuse at least. Alright, so let's go ahead and head to the final resting place, I guess you could call it, for the car. Well, there'll be a couple of final resting places. One of them will be Brutal Slope. Let's see what color to use. And yeah, we'll use a Stig in it, of course. But what color? Let's go with the orange-ish. Orange-ish. It's not really an orange. It's more yellowy orange. Ooh, that's a nice yellow. See, I just like yellow cars, though. I mean, with my RX-7, with it being multiple colors already, I can't tell you how tempted I was to just get a spray paint it all one color just so it was at least consistent. I didn't like the fact that it was multiple colors. I'd rather have a crappy one-color paint job than a multicolor paint job that's half crappy, and it's just like, oh, let's make the whole thing crappy. It'll look good from a distance, at least. I like yellow cars. That's all I'm getting at. Yellow cars look cool. Wait a minute. The top speed was only supposed to be 147. What is this nonsense? It's the power of a hill. We're going to make a convertible E30. Right here, right now. E30 convertible! Oh, that thing did not convertible. It just... Oh, that thing just... That looks cool. Right there, that looks like a cool car. Like, if you were to make a hatchback E30, that thing would have looked awesome, I bet. Because that's what it looks like right now. It looks like a half a hatchback. Like, if that was a full piece of glass that went all the way back, and it was actually a hatchback, I bet that would look cool. Not a wagon, a hatchback. I like hatchbacks better than wagons. See, but this one still has a trunk and stuff. Just the way it looked really cool. Now we're going to do a head-on collision, which will mean the car should go splat. The real question for this test is really, does the car glitch out at this higher speed? Sometimes cars will glitch out at 200 plus mile per hour crashes because they're not made for that. And frankly, I don't even know if that's a bad thing if they glitch out at that speed. But I like to see if they do. Looks no worse than your average 200 mile per hour crash to me. I see, there's a Stig. He's like, help me. I'm stuck. Oh, Stig glitches out. I forgot he does get angry, doesn't he, every now and then. Alright, let's get out of here and go to Leap of Death. And we'll finish things up at Leap of Death. I said Leap of Death twice. Nah, I said it 3 times. 4 times. Whatever. Let's go. And, color choice, color choice, color choice. What do I want? Let's just go... let's go light blue. I don't think light bluish green. That's weird looking. That actually looks like it's glowing almost. It's so bright. That's a crazy color. Here we go. To slow-mo or not to slow-mo? I think we'll slow-mo. Wow, we went far. Like, for the first hit to be all the way down here is not common. Look at this Stig. He's like, I'm still in here. Alright, go ahead and go full speed for a bit. Get to some ground. That car was moving. It's just gonna go to the water almost. After one bounce. That's impressive. Might hit something right here. A little bit of crash. Not much though. Well, that's definitely a different way of doing leap of death. Hit the ground once and that's it. I don't know how I got that amazing acceleration out of this thing. I mean, it's fast, but I didn't know it was that fast. Will it happen twice? Looks like it, yeah. Well, this one's a bad angle. The other one kind of slid down this part. This one's not going to slide. This one's going to... Well, it might. I mean, we could just force a different angle if we really wanted to see it crash up, but... It's just fun to watch. And you got the Stig in there. Let's go ahead and just do a different angle, because that one's so similar. Off to the left. Now we'll get some more damage. Not gonna bother with slow-mo this time, just gonna let it crash up as it goes. So I'll go ahead and say my outro right here. Till next time, this is WhyBeAre with BeamNG.drive with my M3 that is now ruined and my Stig in it. I'll see you next time. Stiggy, no! Don't glitch out, Stiggy! We're good. No, we ain't. Oh, Stig. Oh, okay, that's it then. Couldn't make it down. Oh well.